the legacy of modern day car culture, the king of hot hatches, the self-proclaimed race-ready hatchback. 20-inch wheels, because why not? Brembo brakes, 2 liters, 1 turbocharger, 1 can of Monster, and 300 horsepower. I'm Kevin with MAPerformance, and today we're talking about the FK8 Type R. What you gonna do? Type R could first be heard in the 1990s as Honda's performance lineup, much like Toyota and TRD. 1997 was the first year of the Type R for Japan. Of course, we didn't get any of the generations up until now, that being the US here, with the FK8, because for some reason, the rest of the world hates us. So being that you're watching this video, you're either thinking about picking up a Type R, or you've already walked to the dealership, talked to the sales manager, and didn't want to be like the rest of the peasants in the SI and picked up yourself a Type R. So now that you've had the car for some time, you realize maybe it doesn't sound as good as you want it to, or you don't like the wheels, or you don't like the ride, and you want to start changing things on it. The car comes amazing, set up from the factory, and performs extremely well on the track. But as we all know, everybody has different tastes in cars, and luckily, you happen to have one of the most modifiable cars out there. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons and everything in between of modifying the car. There's tons of aftermarket companies out there that make parts and support this car that can help you whether you're looking for wheels, suspension, turbos, intakes, exhausts, and everything in between. Shameless plug. So some of the first things that you might be looking at doing is either lowering the car or setting it up for the track. The two easiest routes to do that are either going to be springs or coilovers. If you go the spring route, you're gonna get a nice handling car that keeps all of those sweet, sweet OEM goodies when it comes to handling and track driving. However, you're gonna lose some of the adjustability that you can get with a set of coilovers. If you go with coilovers, make sure that you get yourself a quality set. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself actually making the ride worse than it is from the factory. Nobody likes to be in a car that feels like a school bus going down the freeway. So whether you decide to go with coilovers or springs, the absolute next thing you're gonna end up doing is a set of wheels. The 20 inches look great, they ride, we'll just leave it at that, they do. When it comes time to lower it, you're gonna need to have something on there that allows for a little bit more wheel and of course a lot more options as well. Whether you wanna go with an 18 inch or a 19 inch, there's great options and they look with a set of coilovers or springs on the car. For you track guys, I know you have the specs that you're looking for, so this might not be for you, but just know there's plenty of options out there as well. The only difficult choice that you might have when you're looking for wheels is what are gonna clear those ginormous Brembo brakes that you have up front from the factory, no less. Makes for a great performing car on the street and on the track alike. Of course, if you are doing serious heavy-duty track driving, you might find yourself going through pads a little bit early and having to replace the rotors as well. Luckily, we at MAPerformance can get you taken care of with a good set of aftermarket rotors and pads to keep you on the track for longer. Or if you're looking for more of a street-friendly setup, we have those too, because nobody likes dusty wheels. Am I right? After your nice track day where you put a few laps on some Miatas, hopefully, you are gonna have a nice drive home and you're gonna take advantage of that beautiful miles per gallon, which makes everybody smile at the end of the day, getting a whole whopping 35 miles per gallon, which is about the equivalent of my 1996 Honda Accord. Props to you, Honda. You've been doing it for 25 years now. Speaking of fueling, the Type R comes with a direct injection system, which will allow you to run flex fuel if you choose to do so. Many of the aftermarket companies, such as PRL, will make kits that will allow you to run any ethanol up to E85, on the factory fuel system. Not to mention there's also off-the-shelf tune support for it, where you can slap one of those parts in, go to your local Quick Trip and fill up with some E85. Shout out to anybody that has a Quick Trip next to them. Yeah, baby! Yeah. So whether you go with Hondata or K-Tuner, both will have aftermarket tune support for any of your favorite basic bolt-on mods. Whether you want to put an intake on there, a downpipe, front pipe, any other pipe, including the catback that you want, you'll have tune support to go with it. Of course, with those modifications, you got room to get up to about 400 wheel horsepower on the factory engine, which is phenomenal, especially considering that it's a front wheel drive platform, and anything beyond that starts to get a little bit sketchy. And that is where we go into the cons of the car. Why would you not want to modify such a great car? The first one, of course, just mentioned being that it is front wheel drive. It is a Honda after all. Making that kind of power and putting it down on a front wheel drive platform can prove to be quite difficult, whether you're on track or off track driving. On the track, you get a nice set of tires and you can still be extremely competitive, but when you are on the street, you're gonna find it a little bit harder, and you might have to find yourself monitoring your right foot a little bit to take advantage of those miles per gallon, unless you like to spend money on tires. So speaking of spending money, hopefully you're prepared to spend some if you're looking at doing a fuel system. Now luckily it's not something that you have to worry about if you're just planning on doing your basic bolt-ons. However, if you're looking at going for a little bit more, whether you want to slap that new fancy drop-in turbo or turbo kit in the car, you better be prepared to spend some cash. With the limited amount of fuel systems on the market, you're going to be looking at about $3,000 to $4,000. Now, something that there is a lot of on the market is going to be aftermarket exhaust. And that's because it's one of the first things that you'll notice when you hop in the FK8, and that is going to be the noise that it makes and the drone as well. Probably the number one thing that we hear about is the drone. Unfortunately, some of the aftermarket exhausts will continue to have that. However, there are some on the market that have been designed to eliminate the drone as much as possible. So whether you want your car loud or whether you want your car quiet, there's plenty of options for you available. And of course, we can help you out here at MAPerformance in getting whatever ones you want, whether you want a loud exhaust, a quiet exhaust, whether you want to hear your turbo or not, we can definitely help you out. Let us know in the comments below whether you like this video and want to see more of them and on what car, and if you want to see more of my beautiful face. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for next video.